you're somebody who loves Newfoundland and Labrador, you need to tune into this live. It's only going to be 15 minutes. What's happening with these wind energy to hydrogen mega projects are nothing more than land grabs, freshwater grabs, and tax subsidy grabs. It's unfortunate because there were so many people across Newfoundland and Labrador that was optimistic that a new industry would be what our province needed, and the promise of jobs, as usual, as we've seen through generations, is dangled in front of us like a carrot. The destruction that comes with these mega projects simply are not worth the few jobs. I'm sorry, yeah, we do need jobs, and Protect NL, we understand that. But any jobs that we accept has to be good for the people, long-term, well-paying jobs, and we are not seeing that. The majority of the jobs being offered by these companies are temporary jobs, and they're erecting work camps for them. That means people like you and I, we're not getting those jobs. And quite frankly, we're not qualified to erect wind turbines, okay? The wind turbines that are going to be erected are between 656 feet and 741 feet. There's no Newfoundlanders and Labradorians getting those jobs. Oh, you might be lucky. Maybe you'll get a job as a janitor at the camp, or maybe a cookie. Not that there's anything wrong with those jobs, but when you think about the destruction that is going to be coming along with these mega projects, then we really do have a huge problem. Newfoundlanders and Labradorians simply had to stop selling out for the promise of a few measly jobs. And when we do fight for jobs and we do work with companies, we can ask for these jobs up front to be long-term, well-paying jobs for Newfoundlanders and Labradorians. I'm talking about the wind to hydrogen mega projects that are being proposed for Newfoundland and Labrador, and presently our focus is on North Atlantic. North Atlantic is pushing ahead in the Sunnyside, Come By Chance area, and will be basically surrounding the Avalon Isthmus. There are lots of ways. I'm going to talk briefly about that project and how the meeting went. Some of the meetings went this week. We had a lot of very concerned citizens attend these meetings. North Atlantic has pushed ahead with phase 1 and are now discussing phase 2. If you're somebody out there that wants to push back against these mega projects because you see what's happening is wrong, and please, you can be from anywhere in Newfoundland and Labrador. You could be from anywhere in Canada and help us push back on these projects. Our population here in Newfoundland makes us very easy targets. Yes, we are being targeted and manipulated. It's really horrible. 100% a lot of these green energy is not green. They're greed. It's all about greed. It's about making money for somebody else. North Atlantic is not a Newfoundland company. It's only a Newfoundland-based company. So they really use the words, they massage the words to give the impression that they're Newfoundland owned and operated, but they are not. They're just based here in Newfoundland. So North Atlantic, they are pushing ahead with phase 1 and now attempting to push ahead with phase 2. It'll be all around the Avalon Isthmus area. And for those of you that want to push back, here's some things I'm going to throw out there. You want to have first of all, you need to start pulling together like-minded people, just like you. People who see that there are concerns. There could be people out there that are in favor of wind energy, but being in favor of wind energy and being in favor and supporting these huge wind to hydrogen mega projects, is a complete difference of what we may have originally imagined wind energy to be. These projects are simply too big, bringing too much destruction with them. There won't be anybody living in the impact zones because it's simply not going to be safe for people to live here. And the rights and freedoms that we enjoy in rural Newfoundland will slowly be eradicated and taken away. And we've seen it happen already with World Energy GH2. World Energy GH2 had signs set up. You weren't allowed on the property, no trespassing, no hunting, lots of no hunting signs. Sure, you're not going to be allowed hunting out around all these turbines. You could damage one. So we've seen it already happen with World Energy G2. We also seen the numerous lies and the illusions that these companies will say and do anything to try to get your support in the beginning. The projects keep changing, and one very big concern that we have is why is there this, it certainly appears that there's a lot of project splitting going on. If phase 2 depends on equipment that's brought in phase 1, then really it's the same, it's all one big project. And submitting separate applications through the environmental process is simply not cutting it. North Atlantic, so if you want to push back, you want to gather together the like-minded people. You want to start doing petitions. You got to contact the town of Sunnyside and any other surrounding communities. They could be towns, they could be local service districts. Maybe they're not incorporated. You can still represent these communities with groups of citizens. North Atlantic has also received support from Halapu and the Indian band in Conn River. So why would Halapu or the you may have heard Miesel Joe's name, he was the chief there for quite some time. Why would any of these indigenous groups have a say over what happens in Sunnyside, Come By Chance, North Atlantic? Why are they using the indigenous people? And it also certainly seems like Halapu in particular is opening, they were invited to the table to open the door for these companies, to work with the companies so that they can get the foot in the door. And unfortunately, it seems to be happening that way with Halapu. Halapu is just pushing forward. They were brought in to help skip the citizens of Newfoundland and Labrador. It's just really unfortunate, all the division that is happening here, but move forward, get your like-minded people together, contact the town of Sunnyside, contact the other communities as well. The Isthmus Development Alliance, you really need to get on with those as well, find out what they've already promised. We've seen a repeated pattern of behavior where different energy boards or different committees are being formed. It happened in Central with Botwood. It happened on the Burin Peninsula with Everwind. These groups, what they're doing is they're organizing these different committees so that they can just continue to move forward and not have to talk to the people. I don't know what's happening with the Isthmus Development Alliance, but we strongly encourage that you speak to them. And you also want to be putting pressure on the government. So Jeff Dwyer, who went around, and when he got reelected, he went around telling people that these projects were dead in the water. So Jeff Dwyer, that's what he was telling people, so hold him to it. Jonathan Rowe should also be contacted. He has been diving, dodging, ducking the problem with these proposed wind farms before he was even elected. I personally thought he was going to be I think he's a great speaker. I'd like to see him live up to his promise to protect Newfoundlanders and Labradorians. He also says he stands on constitutional rights, that he's big on rights and freedoms. Well, rights and freedoms of Newfoundlanders and Labradorians are being trampled over. We're being ignored by not just these companies, but by government. Oh yeah, they'll talk to you when the questions are soft, but once you start pushing and asking harder questions, then you're going to have a problem on your hands. But we strongly encourage you, you've got to do it anyway, okay? Christopher Tibbs, Leela Evans, I mean, I'm reading a document here now, they're talking about putting turbines 300 meters from people's homes. Are you kidding me? Like, has anybody gone out there and actually read about negative health impacts? I mean, Downwind, it's a well-known documentary, talks to people one-on-one, and there is peer-reviewed academic research available on our website at protectnl.com. A huge thank you, Amanda Butcher. I can see you on here. Thank you so much. So glad that you were able to make the meeting. And a big shout out to Judy and Patsy. They also drove down from Port Rexton. That's the thing, folks. I'm just going to say it once again. This may not be happening in your backyard, but it's happening in our province. And our population is too small to expect the people of Sunnyside to stand up and fight this on their own. Now, I believe 100% the people in that area, oh yeah, they're strong and they can push back. And I believe also that they can win. It all depends on how determined and how dedicated we can be. But we have a responsibility as Newfoundlanders and Labradorians to stand together. we don't have a big enough population to only worry about our own areas. These big businesses, and unfortunately our misguided elected government officials, are targeting rural Newfoundland, all over Newfoundland. There was, what, 5, 6, 7 of these projects originally. If there had been no pushback, no doubt they'd be going ahead, and we'd be in some friggin' mess right now, I tell ya. But we have to stick together. We have to push back together. Get on the telephones as well and call people. This is where our small population could work in our advantage, because we can get a hold of everybody. We just got to get on the phone and start calling people. So yes, 100%, you can push back. You can win. And North Atlantic, yeah, they've been pushing ahead under the radar a little bit, but it's unfortunate, but it's not too late, okay? So just want to make sure you know that. There was a document given out, and please, keep the conversation going in the comments. Amanda, I know you were there, and Amanda shared a document with us that discusses phase 2. And again, ask questions about phase 1. Phase 1 is already changing. They're gone from 45 turbines to 55 turbines. It might not seem like a very big difference, but you're looking at turbines that are some of the tallest turbines in the entire world. And these turbines are straddling communities. There are literally homes in the middle of this wind farm. It's absolutely insanity. If anybody wants a copy of the document that was given out in the meetings this week, please know that I can certainly send this to you. They discuss phase 1 and phase 2. If you're somebody out there that knows about project splitting, then I'd love to hear from you, because it certainly seems like this is starting to be a trend for these companies. I want to show you a quick map. I know that Friday mornings are usually just 15 minutes, so I'm going to try to keep it to that. But this is a map. Make sure everybody can see that. This is a map of where the wind farms are to be going at the back country of Arnold's Cove Station. It's approximately 3 miles between Placentia Bay and Trinity Bay. And nobody was informed of this map. It's just something that's been given out. No public discussions. If you're from Arnold's Cove Station, or you know anybody in around these communities, you got to start talking to them. There is mega health concerns here, environmental issues, as well as your water supply. Okay, so yes, you can 100% stop this. I got a few minutes here. I'm just going to go through some of the points that I saw in the handout. They're talking about protecting the water supplies. So they know that's important. So they're actually just going to remind you that World Energy GH2, they damaged the water in mainland, and government brushed it off. The people of mainland, they couldn't use their water for a while there. And that was just from the construction of the wind measurement towers. That's just towers there to measure the wind. Got nothing to do with the 656-foot turbines. So this has already happened. This is where we have to learn from what's happening, not just in other parts of the province, but around the world. And Christine Burke, she traveled down here because her water was damaged in Ontario. And she's been she's a huge fighter, but she's been basically been given the runaround. And friends, once you start asking government the hard questions, you're going to start getting the runaround as well. But know that we can push back and we can win. We got to push back. We have to, because look at what's going to happen if we don't. The destruction will be immeasurable. Our fresh water supplies will be greatly at risk, and our freedom. We, as Newfoundlanders and Labradorians, we are highly connected to the land. It's a part of our identity. It's a part of who we are. We have to fight. Not just for us, but for our children. This continued cycle of taking advantage of Newfoundlanders and Labradorians, it has to stop. And it's going to stop with our generation. So just know that, okay? It has to stop, and it will stop. So phase 1 they claim is located outside Sunnyside Public Protections water supply area, and no effects on the water supply are anticipated. Of course they'd say that. So, like, if a company was being realistic to you, wouldn't they say, here are the risk? There are a risk. To say there's no risk. Phase 2 includes land at borders, but sits outside Arnold's Cove Public Protected Water Supply Area. To protect the supply, a 15-meter undisturbed buffer will be maintained, consistent with provincial guidelines, which we know aren't very well. And turbines will be located at least 45 meters. 45 meters. Buys, oh buys. Like that may, I don't know, maybe all right to park your vehicle 45 meters from a protected water area, but an industrial wind turbine? I just don't understand it. The job snapshots, they're estimating 3,180 jobs during construction. And I just want to throw out there that the reason why they have temporary work camps is because these jobs aren't for us. These 3,000 jobs, I would ask to go ahead then. So if you're going to bring in 3,000 people, how are you taking care of their medical needs? Are you depending on our ambulance services and our hospital services? Because we are already in a healthcare crisis. So this whole idea of jobs is not for you. And this temporary work camp is going to bring an extra stress to Newfoundland and Labrador, a stress to our hospital systems that we don't need. So then they claim that running it in operations is 75 full-time positions. I'd like to see that in writing. And how many are already in place? How many of these 75 jobs are already working with North Atlantic? Community engagement is also discussed here. This is a great handout, and I should put it right up on. I'm going to put it in the Protect NL website, Facebook group anyway. They're asking if you're consulting with local communities and indigenous groups. And again, I'm very, very concerned because Halipoo has been selling out to people of Newfoundland and Labrador ever since they got into position. And now they're speaking for your area? This is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. The government has Halipoo in place to skip the people, to skip the residents. They feel if they have the support. Halipoo has no claims to the land. They have no claims to the land. Period. Full stop. Exactly. It's unfortunate. They're talking about the noise that the turbines will make. Will you be able to hear them? Turbines are going to be 300 meters. You got to start doing your research of the noise of these turbines. And remember, it's not just one turbine. You're looking at over like 100 there now for North Atlantic. Okay? They said 45 in phase 1, then they changed it to 55 in phase 1, and then phase 2 is 60, which is no doubt the numbers are going to keep changing. And we've seen that happen with World Energy GH2. The numbers are constantly being massaged. Amanda, I'm so glad to see you here. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you being here. Emma, I can see you there too. We got some real great fighters. Ada, I gotta tell you, Ada, I'm in love with you, and I can see your spirit all the way over the computer. We got a lot of fighters in Sunnyside. My father knows people from Sunnyside, and he was telling me, Brenda, they're going to be okay because they're fighters in Sunnyside. All the transmission lines are going to be above the land. They talk about the water use. So this is where I want to bring up that in phase 2, they discussed that the project will produce an average of 85.6 tons of green hydrogen a day, requiring up to this amount. This is 947 million liters of water, but this is only for phase 2. I just want to clarify that water is only for phase 2. The actual amount of water that they need, and I'm assuming this is, actually that could be, I'd have to double check what phase that's for, but that amount of water is not for the full project. The full amount of water that they are now citing for the entire project is 1.26 billion liters. Okay? They've clarified that 1.26 billion liters is for the plant. So the 947 million liters, I'm not sure why there's a discrepancy here, but they are saying they need 1.26 billion liters for the plant. They're talking about a decommissioning plan for cleanup, but I want to know as well, what are they going to do with the garbage? We know right now that garbage is being dumped on the Burin Peninsula in gravel pits. Our government doesn't require anything else. So what's going to happen when you have, so I'm going to use the number 100. You got 100 turbines going in North Atlantic. We know that the blade span is as big as a Boeing 747. That's how big these blades are. Every one of these turbines have 3 blades. And then those blades need to be replaced. The project is what, 30 years? I'm being told that these blades need to be replaced every 6-7 years. So do the math. How many blades is that going into the gravel pits? How many blades of that is going into our ground? And what about, or the bogs, or the sinkholes? Who sees what's happening backcountry? And there's nothing here about bankruptcy. So, I mean, Sunnyside has already got to deal with the fish sauce plant because our government didn't put the right checks and balances in place. So Sunnyside, yeah, they're the ones taking all that fish sauce that's been sitting around for 20 years. The reason why we had to deal with that is because our government didn't put anything in place to protect us if the companies went bankrupt. So what's going to happen if North Atlantic goes bankrupt? Yeah, it's all right, North Atlantic. You can look at what's going to happen when you decommission 30 years down the road if you're not even going to be here. Come on. And one more thing I want to show you that Amanda pointed out to me. I got papers everywhere. One of the things, and you know, sometimes I laugh, but I just want to say I don't find any of this funny. Sometimes my laughter is just nervous laughter, or it's just like, this is just so insane that I gotta laugh. But Amanda pointed out that the water, see that water? I know this is not a great map. Oh, sorry, I got a better map than this. This map here, see that water there in the middle? That's the community's water supply. That's somebody's water supply in the middle of the wind farm. Okay. So to say that there's no risk to the water, give me a break. Give me a break. And I know on the Port-au-Port Peninsula, they need to put these turbines high in the air because they're there to capture the wind. So they're putting the turbines on the mountains. And the people on the Port-au-Port Peninsula, that's where they get the water, runs down off the mountains. So are you still going to tell us that there's no risk to this water supply? Okay. All right, so I can see like I'm a little bit over my 15 minutes, but a lot of really good information here. Just going to check the comments here. Oh, I'm so glad you mentioned the survey, Amanda. So there's also a land use survey that's being passed around. There's a QR code, and I can make sure that's also available. I'll put this all up on the website. I say website, I mean the Facebook group. I'll put this all up in the Facebook group today. Yeah, they're doing a land survey as well. Excellent point, Amanda. Why on the survey they got out to do, they ask if you live in Chance Cove or the Placentia area. Is there a phase 3 coming? Buys, oh buys, why? This is what they do, right? Like, so what we've seen is the companies will attempt to come in small, and they will so that people don't, you know, kick up a big fuss. Oh, well, it's only 45 turbines. Oh, well, you know, we got to let somebody get through. You know, we got to try at least one project. But, you know, it's just too much destruction. It's too big. What are the financial benefits? You just cannot be sacrificing people's health, people's homes, the fresh water, the land. And yeah, 100%, Amanda, I think you're right. There's going to be a phase 3. And why, again, anybody out there that knows about project splitting, why is North Atlantic being allowed to submit this in all phases? Because if phase 2 depends on any infrastructure from phase 1, which it will, it's supposed to be one big project going through an environmental assessment. So you've got to put the pressure on, okay, on the companies and the governments, and you got to keep pulling together the like-minded people. All right, I'm going to get ready to take off. I hope the comments continue to keep the discussion going. Please share this live. Protect&L will do everything we can to help the people of Newfoundland and Labrador, and know that our love for this province is infinite, or infinite, as Lady Gaga would say. And we're not going anywhere. And we're just getting louder and louder. And the people are getting stronger and stronger. And we see that these are scams. And we're done with being taken advantage of. This generational abuse is stopping. And we're stopping it. So thank you to everybody out there who has the courage to stand up and speak the truth. There's going to be bullying. There's going to be a lot of fighting. I remember when I first started all this, and I was doing my research, and I remember reading how much communities start fighting when these wind energy projects try to come to the areas. And I remember thinking, oh my God, please don't let that happen to us. And that is exactly what happened to us. with a lot of fighting and a lot of bullying, and it's been horrible. But we are the ones that are standing up for the right. We are the ones that are standing on truth and honesty. And we are the ones that are speaking for the innocents. And for the innocents, I mean the animals that can't speak for themselves. And I also mean the children. All right. All my love and respect to each and every one of you. A huge thank you to all the people who continue to fight. And for those that are just coming on board, hold on, because it's going to be quite a ride. Because we are going to protect Newfoundland and Labrador. Each other, our communities, our health, our fresh water. All right. Thanks again, everybody. Love you. Love you so much. And love you, Amanda. Thank you for being here. You're something else, girl. Special shout out to Frank as well. Frank and Ada and Diane Slade. I've been seeing comments. Keep it up. Keep up the great work. Love you. Love you so much.